Well, welcome everyone. My name is Rick Reese. I'm going to be presenting to you something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is marketplace ministry. And one of the questions that I was asking is, are you called to be a marketplace minister? That's a calling. Are you called to be a marketplace minister? I'm not going to be before you long here. I just want to share some personal experiences and insights that I believe is going to be a blessing to you because it's going to let you know that you're not alone. You're not alone. The things that you go through, grow through, the trials and the tribulations, the different experiences, whether it be money or people, relationships, you're not alone. And this is a process. So I want to share with you some of my insights from a personal testimony. And this is actually really my personal testimony. I left the workforce in 2005, but this actually started around 2003 and possibly even earlier. And I know you can relate to this. Things are going well, and then problems happen, situations happen, money issues, you're going up and down, all around. Other people around you are being successful, and you're wondering, what's wrong with me? And those are the different trials. And so this is what happened with me. And I'm going through different trials and different tribulations. I'm going up and down. I'm being run through the ringer. This is failing, that's failing, a little bit of win here, a lot of losing there. And people even today are still in that loop. This is a calling, marketplace ministry. I truly believe it's a calling for people that God has given an insight to, a touch to, a calling to go outside the four walls of the church into the marketplace, working with the pastors on behalf of the pastors, kind of like a Caleb, Joshua, go into the promised land, spy out the land, and to see that the giants are there for our feeding, that the grapes were this big, and we're well able to take them and to bring back the good report to our pastors, whose responsibility is within the four walls of the church. And I realized that my job is on the outside of the church in the marketplace to create wealth. Now, you may be like I, assigned to the wealth transfer for end time ministry. That's a powerful position. And you don't just get it. You go through trials, you go through tribulations, you give, you release money, you serve, so that you're not just doing it for yourself. And so that is a process. And when I began to realize I'm going through a process, I began to document it. I began to document those trials. I began to document those tribulations. I began to document the things that the Lord was sharing with me, writing it down. And the reason I was documenting it to see if they would come to pass, and I knew they would, but to just see, I want to experience. Is he real? Am I going through this for a purpose, for a cause, for a reason? And I was. And so I documented everything, knowing that I would be all right, that I would live to share the story. And here I am. I'm sharing the story of my own personal testimony. I made it through. And then, of course, it's an ongoing process, but something came out of it. Marketplace ministry, better world changers, marketplace ministry. How do we transform the world? And in going through something, you can now teach it. And so you may be going through an experience where you think, am I ever going to win? Everything I try, understand that it's a process that you're going through. You're being trained to perfection. It's true. And so, but when you understand this, now you have a different perspective. You have a different perspective. And so I just want to share a few things with you And in particular, things that I believe give you a solid foundation. Now, as a marketplace minister and over a marketplace ministry, our number one goal, our number one mission is to mobilize a spiritually focused team of marketplace ministers for one purpose and one purpose only. In addition, of course, to transferring wealth, but to make the Great Commission the great completion and to be used of God with our expertise, our talents, our treasures to transform this world. Now, personally, my job in the wealth transfer is to fund kingdom business. Oh, I love that. I've got a pastor, Pastor Mark, Church for All Nations, and my job is to fund kingdom business. And you've got pastors out there that just give, give, give. The money flows through them. And so one of my jobs is to create a pipeline of wealth from my business to be, and I'm in travel, to create that wealth to fund his vision. Oh, when you do something that's bigger than you, it's on. It's on. Are you in business just for you? Well, it's a dead end. Are you in business for a cause, for a vision that's bigger than you? You're going to get help. You're going to get support. And one of the things that I found, it's not just about business. You have the business, and then you also have the ministry, the marketplace ministry. A lot of times people get stuck on the business side, especially believers, and they wonder, I just can't get into this. I just can't feel it. Why? I don't have the motivation to do what these business people are telling me from a business perspective. It's not sustainable, I believe, for us as believers. However, when you add the marketplace ministry piece, which is, I believe, for believers, the real why, the cause is greater, than you. When you bring those two together, over. And so one of the things, and this is what I was experiencing when I first came into business, I was really just focused on the business side, business excellence, and I just couldn't get that motivation that would sustain me to keep going. But then when I began to understand that I'm in this for a much bigger reason, I'm in this for wealth transfer, I'm in this for personal freedom so that I can be freed up to do what I've been called to do by the Lord. I'm in this for community building, to be able to go into the communities, create a pipeline of wealth, go into the communities, not asking for anything in return and saying, let's get it done. Let's get it done. Writing checks because you're flowing wealth from your successful business into the community. And then the third thing is global missions, kingdom building. And so when you've got, I believe, this is all my opinion, I believe when you have a cause that is bigger than yourself, now you get the support. Now you have the motivation to keep going. Now you can dig deep. Now you can call the people or contact the people that are part of the team. Now you can move forward. And so that's what I did. I documented this process. And I've got a website where people can actually trace many of the things that I've grown through being a paymaster. A lot of people have no idea what a paymaster is. A paymaster is someone that God has selected. You are a paymaster. God has selected you that he can flow supernatural wealth through you for the building of his kingdom. I documented the transition in presentations on the website, betterworldchangers.com, the transition of transitioning from the world economy into God's economy, which is an economy of faith. Faith is the currency of the believer. It spends like money, but you never get stuck. So are you called to be a marketplace minister? Is that a calling? Are you called? When Moses sent out the 12 spies to spy out the promised land, 10 came back with the bad report. Joshua and Caleb. Are you called to be that Joshua, Caleb, in the marketplace. Wealth transfers from the marketplace, not the workplace. Are you called to be that representative of your pastor in the marketplace, working with that pastor, saying, "Hey, I'll help. I'll go into the marketplace. I'll slay the giants. Just pray the covering over me, and I'll slay the giants, and we'll bring back those luscious grapes for the ministry building." Are you called to do that? We need you. I believe we're in end time ministries. Who knows when the end is, but I believe we're in end time ministry. One of the concepts that we work with is the concept of 7 mountains, the 7 mountains of cultural influence. There are 7 mountains that influence our culture. And this is pretty critical, I believe, for the marketplace minister to understand. There are 7 mountains that influence our culture. And for the believer, at the top of these mountains sits a little devil there looking at you climbing. And it may be you're assigned to climb the mountain of education, the mountain of business, the mountain of art, sports, and entertainment, the mountain of media, the mountain of family, the mountain of church. What mountain are you assigned to climb? And in knowing that, now this is pretty heavy duty. When you begin to understand the mountains, you begin to understand and look back on the trends that you've been growing through in your life. Rick, all the things and problems have been happening in family. Okay, well, maybe you're assigned to climb the mountain of family. And so the things that the enemy, quote unquote, is using to hold people fast to the mountain to trip them up as they climb, you're going through experiences, training so that you're free to climb. You've overcome guilt. You've overcome revenge. You've overcome all those things that affect family. Maybe yours is business, climbing the mountain of business. And so I'm going through a lot of money issues. And what are you being trained for? You've overcome greed, covetousness. You've overcome. It may be the mountain of media. It may be the mountain of art, sports, and entertainment. It may be the mountain of government or education. When you begin to understand the 7 mountains, you begin to relate to the trainings that I believe that you're growing through in life that's preparing you to climb your specific mountain, the mountain of education, all the things that you're growing through, the mountain of government, community, all the things that you're growing through. It's pretty heavy duty deep. However, when you begin to put in perspective that you're in the training to climb the mountain, so that as you begin to climb, you've overcome all those things that normally trip people up and hold them fast to the mountain. So you have the 7 mountains. In the 7 mountains and understanding the 7 mountains, and this is critical for marketplace ministers, the mountain of business transfers wealth to fund the other 6 mountains in the world system. The mountain of business. So, for example, if someone is running for political office on the mountain of government, what do? They call their business buddy, "Can you fund my campaign?" If someone is producing a movie on the mountain of entertainment, art, sports, entertainment, what do? They call their buddy from business. And the buddy from business says, "I'll take care of that." The church believers have no idea that this is how money is moved. You're held in place climbing the mountain because of money being provided or money being withheld based on who you are. And so, in growing through this whole thing and understanding business and how business works and attaching it to a higher cause than myself, I began to understand how to tap into resources with understanding the 7 mountains. Lord, you've called me to do a specific work. It's your responsibility for favor to bless me to be able to create wealth on the business mountain that allows me to be free. My mountain is the community, government. To be free on that mountain, personal freedom, community building, global missions. Create a pipeline of wealth from the business mountain, and my business is travel. Now, this is any business, whether you're a business owner, a salesperson, an entrepreneur, an inventor, whatever it may be. Lord, hold it up to the Lord for him to multiply. Father, like the loaves and fishes. Father, multiply this so that I can be freed up to do what you've called me to do on my specific mountain, so that the money is flowing from a heavenly source that you've created and protect. So this is what happened, ladies and gentlemen. And so in walking this out, of course, I understand, okay, all the things I'm growing through is not unto death. I'm not going to die. Okay, I'm learning. Document what you see. Document what you're going through. Document, so that you can teach it. Business. Okay, you don't have to jump around from business to business because you're missing the point. It's me who it gives you the increase. Seek me, tie it to a higher cause, a higher purpose. And so, okay, I'm in travel. Okay, I'll do that. And I tie it to a higher cause, and I tie it to a higher purpose based on the calling that I have personal in my life. And the business starts to work. It starts to create wealth. The people that are assigned to me come to me. Those who aren't, I release, and I'm free. And people are coming, and things are happening, things are moving, and I've got a greater purpose, and I'm giving and I'm serving. Wow. When you start moving into that arena, when you start bringing back the good report of Caleb and Joshua, the giants are there for our eating. They're easy. If the Lord delight in us, it's okay. When you start moving into that, now you start climbing your mountain. And guess what? It creates a pipeline of wealth that's protected. Otherwise, you don't if you don't have that protection and you think you're just out there doing it yourself, you start climbing that mountain, you start being effective in whatever area. That little devil that sits at the top says, okay, no. We need to pull the rug from under their feet. No, I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado. My money does not come from Colorado Springs, Colorado. So I'm most effective. My money comes from all over, from a heavenly source. Marketplace ministry. That's what marketplace ministry is all about. Now, I'm just going to 15 minutes here. And next week, I'm going to be talking about and going into more detail on the seven mountains. On the seven mountains. But before I close, I want to introduce you to the website that documents the experience. And as a business transformation coach, marketplace minister, you heard me mention, I document it so that others can learn. So I'm going to share something with you. And if you're following me along, uh, this would be homework. And let's see here. Let me go here. This would be homework. And also just research. You heard me talk about the Paymaster. You heard me talk about transitioning from the world economy to God's economy. If you are serious, these lessons are real world lessons that you can learn. Okay, so betterworldchangers.com, betterworldchangers.com. And the first tab talks about marketplace ministry. And you can come down and you can take a look at it. If you're in another country, you can select the language. But the bottom line goal is it's for anyone. And all I'm doing is mobilizing marketplace ministers, training and equipping them in spiritual warfare. When you start understanding this, you better have a prayer life. This is spiritual warfare at the highest level, especially in time ministry. Equipping marketplace ministers to conquer, to occupy, to rule, and transform territory. Also, but I'm going to close. You can go back there and you can take a look at it because it goes into seven mountains. It goes into so many different things. But I'm going to come back up here. Here's the assignment, the begin here tab. And it's so important that you do this. I've got 2 minutes, 4 minutes. So important that you do this. I'm going to scroll down. Now, of course, our Supreme Commander, our Lord and Savior, the Supreme Commander's intent, fulfill the Great Commission in our lifetime. The Marketplace Minister's mission, we want to fund global missions and transfer wealth to get it done. Otherwise, you have no money. Community outreach, to go into our communities and make a real difference. Social entrepreneurism, urban entrepreneurialism, personal freedom. Create treasures with the talents that God has given us. Okay, so but here's the assignment. Get a composition notebook and 3 objectives, and scrolling down, it'll go through each of these objectives. But here's the foundation. Okay, you've got the business. You know your business excellence, business excellence. You got it down pat. We're adding the marketplace spiritual ministry piece. For believers, I believe this is the real why you're doing what you're doing. And so 3 objectives is going to walk you through. The first one is, what is your divine call? What is your purpose? Why are you here on this planet? And it's going to walk you through some ideas, but I want you to know, once you understand that, that's your spiritual authority. Nobody can move you once you understand your spiritual authority. You can do business, but you really aren't walking in the authority. When you add the ministry piece to it, that's your spiritual authority. The second thing is, what is your assigned mountain of the 7 mountains? Rick, I didn't even Mount Everest? No, no. Society, culture is broken out into these 7 mountains. Wealth transfers from the business mountain to fund the others. Now, you may have a calling in education. Lord, here's a business. I need you to prosper it so that I can be freed up to climb the mountain of education. Personal freedom, community building, global missions. This is going to walk you through your assigned mountain. Now I know there's a presentation you can download called Climbing Your Assigned Mountain. You want to download that presentation. And then the third thing, as I wrap up here, what is the image of your marketplace success? If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. What is the image of your marketplace success? And being able to write down that image and to feel that success. See, if you can feel that success, so important. You can't move into a new future with old emotions. The old emotions lock you into your past. So, with the new set of feelings of that image of your marketplace success, that's your marketplace authority. So now you've got your spiritual authority. You know what mountain you're climbing. You've got a business tool that transfers wealth from the business mountain to free you up to climb your respective mountain. You have an image of your success, and you're in line with time towards your destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, when you do that as a marketplace minister, you're on a track. And of course, bringing the business excellence with the marketplace ministry excellence, it's a done deal. And so I'm going to be bringing some things to you, some of the lessons that I've learned. And if you go to the website, betterworldchangers.com, you actually will be able to see many of the lessons. Let me see, I've got a minute. So let me just kind of share this with you. So you've got divine call, you've got change agents. You are a change agent. Just to give you a quick look, see here. There are 6 stages of God's change agent: recruitment, character, isolation, the cross, problem solving, networks. See, many of us who are been in, say for a moment here, have gone through these first 4, and now we've got a business that's solving a major problem. It's God's responsibility to build the networks around you as you focus on your purpose and your cause. That's heavy duty stuff here. Okay, and resources. This is spiritual warfare. So you can scroll down and there are some spiritual warfare prayers that you can download. Decree a Thing, The Rope with Francis Chan. And we are totally out of time. But look at this. The 2 that I mentioned, God's Paymaster and Transitioning to God's Economy. These document a personal walk, silent weapons for a quiet war, Jezebel, the seducing goddess of war. So these are building a self-sustaining business. These are things that we've grown through, ladies and gentlemen, for your benefit. And so be feel free to come back here. As I scroll back up, feel free to come back here and I say, especially the spiritual warfare prayers, you want to download those because once you begin moving in this understanding, you knew you was in spiritual warfare before. Now there is an increased awareness and knowing that you're in a real fight. And so being able to have on a daily basis, taking that time to pray, taking that time to build walls of protection around you and your family and your friends and your business. And it moves you now into a position of marketplace ministry. The goal here, folks, is multiplication for you to understand clearly your role, your responsibilities, and what you're doing and the fight that we're in, and to launch you as a marketplace minister for wealth transfer in end time ministry. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely looking forward to sharing more information with you. As you know, everything is a life lesson. And it's so beautiful when you can actually share a life lesson with people who want to know and know that you do. Bring back the good report. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your day.